4 గంటలకి అలారం కొడితే ఉలిక్కిపడి లేచి తన కార్యాన్ని ప్రారంభించిన వాడు, వాడికి ఇంకా నిద్రపోదామని శరీరం కోరినా వెంటనే ఉత్సాహంతో లేచి మొహం కడుక్కుని కూర్చున్నవాడున్నాడే, వాడు కార్యమును సాధిస్తాడు. మహాత్ములెవ్వరూ ఒక రాత్రికి రాత్రి తయారైన వారు కారు. మహాత్ముల జీవితాలేవి పూల పాల్పులు కావు. ఎంతో కష్టపడితే వాళ్ళు మాత్రమే మహాత్ములు కాక.
Today's episode is just not a conversation, it's more about a journey. And I'm super excited to introduce you one of the most incredible finance leader, Mr. MV Narasimham. He is the CFO at Dr.Reddys Laboratories. It's one of the most respected pharma company globally. We also have Mr. Amit Parekh on our show. He is the finance head of API, Active Pharmaceutical Ingredients, which is a subunit of Dr.Reddys itself. He's an exceptional leader in terms of financial planning, cost, and execution. This episode is just not about numbers or some dry financial talks. This episode is more about the courage, the purpose, and it's more about the legacy. I truly believe this episode has a lot of critical insights. We'll try to understand their perspective, their mindset, their approach in life. What we'll do is, let's try to knock his door and let's pull out some critical insights from MV Narasimhan and Amit Parekh. Join me, guys. Sandeep, start chedama?
Yeah, start.
Okay. Hi, Amit. Thank you so much for making your time today for us. It's a great opportunity for us to be have a situation like this where we can understand your mindset, we can understand your perspectives, your journeys basically. This is a great platform for the young entrepreneurs, to the young people who can leverage or they can learn different kind of perspectives, what is happening in the industry currently now, and take some critical insights and apply to their journeys for the maximum impact, right? Maybe to start with, Emian, I see that you come from a very humble background, right? And a small village from Andhra Pradesh. But if you look at today, you're handling more than $3 billion top line. And also you have an aspiration of hitting 10 billion mark, right? So I probably would say maybe in this whole journey, maybe 1 or 2% would have played your luck. But I'm really curious to understand what is that other 99% of your story.
Okay. Firstly, thank you, Gautam and Amit, for having me today for this program. I'm very privileged, honored, for this entire episode. I think what you are doing to understand about my life journey and where today I'm there, how I reached. So thanks to both of you for taking your valuable time on Saturday and spending with me. So if I have to say, certainly in my life journey, if I have to say, always is like my dedication, my efforts. Apart from these two, luck also is there. Suppose if I see where I came, today where I am, no correlation. Honestly, if you see that, then I came from a village, nothing. Even my parents also don't know anything. Even I think they are today also, there are illiterates, I think they cannot sign. So that extent, I think I can tell you. And from there today, I'm a global CFO for Dr.Reddys. So that means is like a clearly in the initial days, I don't know how I struggled, how I put my dedication and took me here. And in this, definitely in the initial stages, my parents, my uncle, and then later once I married my wife, I think she put a major role in my growth journey. And apart from all these things, luck is clearly, I believe, luck plays a significant role.
Okay, maybe in detail if you want to explain how did that happen.
So one, if I have to narrate, suppose I don't know, maybe I'll just little bit explain, I don't know, suppose in the initial stage.
Sure.
I'm from a small village in Andhra Pradesh, and then we don't have anyone like an educated person in my family.
Okay. Which village is that?
This is called Punipalam.
Okay.
In close to Kandupur town. It's a small village. When I don't know, suppose I completed my SSC 10th class in 1983. March 1983. So in my village, no one has studied. So then, suppose even up to 5th standard, I used to go to in my hometown. Then from there, 6th to 10th, I went to a school. In my village, no school is there. And daily, about 4 to 5 kilometers morning, we used to walk for going to the school and then come back. And then apart from that, we also have a huge agriculture activities in my house.
Okay.
My parents, my grandfather's house is a giant family. So we used to focus a lot on agriculture. So that's how I also have a passionate about so much about agriculture.
Okay.
So in the high school time, I think before going to the school, even after coming to the school, then I think we used to focus on so much of agricultural activities.
Right.
So then up to 10th is like a Telugu medium. Then thereafter, I want to focus on agriculture. I don't have any ambition to study. But like God also has given me great IQ.
Okay.
Then in the school, I was a second topper.
Awesome. Great.
Second topper. Because of that, then there's one person, today is no more. He has advised my parents,
Okay.
why are you asking him to focus? He is studying very well. You guys have to push him for studies.
Right.
So in that situation, my mother asked me to study. Till that day, I have not taken even from the collector my 10th class mark list.
Okay.
Or even TC for applying, suppose for the college admission. So tomorrow is the let us say last day. Today I went to the school and then I just collected all the documents. Next day I went to the college. Only one college nearby my village. No more colleges. That is only the way. And I also don't have any guidance setting what to study, what to do. So whatever I decided, I applied for those days. I think there are 2 courses. We used to call one is MPC. MPC means whoever is a clever student, they used to study maths, physics, chemistry. And then there's another group called CEC, Commerce, Economics, Civics.
Right.
So I applied for both because I don't have any ambition to study. So whatever it comes because of my parents are saying, then I want to study. So I applied for both. Then I got the CEC admission. I joined. Once again, that is a Telugu medium, no English.
Oh, Telugu medium. Okay.
Telugu medium.
Mm-hmm.
Join.
Okay.
Then even still, if you ask me between the studies and agriculture, I am very passionate about agriculture.
Awesome.
activities.
Great.
Okay. And then I joined the college. Then every first 5 days, college used to be there Monday to Friday. Just focus on college. Saturday, Sunday, once again, go back
Right.
to the hometown, focus on agriculture. This is what used to happen. In the first year, as expected, I failed English. Okay, because I came from Telugu medium, I failed English. Then I thought there is a great opportunity to discontinue my studies.
Okay.
Then I went and told my parents, I'm not interested to study because I failed in English. Now college will not allow me to continue my studies.
Okay.
Then today in my family, my mother's father is a grandfather is a very visionary person.
Okay.
I can say today if you take any of the chairman of any of the company is a such type of person. He came to the college, he asked the principal told, no, your grandson can write in the September, there's a exam I think we conduct, he can write, he can continue the studies. So once again they pushed me to study.
Okay.
So then I
Do you regret that happening, or were you again
so
fight?
today you asked the one question, luck, that is called is luck, I can say. Because luck is there, that's why they push me. Today if I am just speaking to you because of the luck, I can say that. And then I wrote in September my English, then I became the college topper.
Awesome.
My college topper. And then intermediate second year also I passed, and then what to do? Because a boy don't have any ambition to pursue further.
Right.
So always focus on agriculture. This is what used to happen.
Right.
Then I got a decent marks
Mm-hmm.
in the +1, +2. Then naturally being I am a commerce student, then I joined BCom. BCom also is a Telugu medium, no English. English means is one subject. Always I think English is like how to get the minimum marks. That is
Right.
only the ambition. Not to learn English is not a motive at all at that time.
Mhm.
Then become and become clearly focusing on agriculture activities as well as become. I became a college topper in the become.
Awesome.
So then, after my completed my BCom in March 1988. Okay, then what to do? It's a very clear ambition to settle in agriculture.
Okay.
Then, other side, since like I got a good marks, then people said, why you are like focusing on agriculture? You should not focus. You should pursue studies. Then I thought of joining either Andhra University or in Nagarjuna University. Since I got a good marks, I can get a MCOM admission. And once you study MCOM, then you can settle like any in the bank or small job. That itself is like a big ambition, aspiration, I think, those days.
Okay.
So that's what I was thinking. Then my uncle, he was doing MTech in Annamalai University.
Okay.
He is the person knows some extent about what is next to be studied, all these
Okay.
things.
Uncle as in how he was related to you?
My mother's brother. Ours is a joint family.
Okay.
Okay.
Why were you so passionate about agriculture?
So because I think in our village, I think we have seen my parents, my grandparents, I don't know, other neighbors. Other than that, I don't know, we don't have any other activities in the village. We have grown. And then I also felt, I don't know, somewhere if agriculture, I think whatever you do, you can help, I think, so many people because you used to work, I think you can, that's where I think somewhere it's embedded into my philosophy. Agriculture is a great activity. And even I don't know, suppose today also if I go to my hometown, I visit fields.
Great.
I so much of passionate about fields. Even some of the people will ask after your retirement what you do, what is your next passionate area. I always talk about agriculture.
Right. Awesome. So you have joined BSc.
No, I joined BCom.
BCom. Okay.
So I joined BCom and then BCom I got a excellent college top.
Okay.
Then what to do next? Having got a good marks in the college. So I have as usual, no passion for further studies. Very much passionate about because we used to have a huge agriculture activities in our village, majorly tobacco, chilies. Then a lot activities. Suppose if you go to the field morning 6 o'clock, you come back in the evening 8 p.m. like that. So it's a lot of passion. It's even despite of so much of hard work, I used to enjoy in that hard work. Today, the same I do in my office as well.
Awesome.
That's what I don't know. Suppose is embedded right from I don't know my childhood days. Then after completing my BCom, then I was just going on in my mind what to do if I go for further studies.
Okay.
So no guidance, and then hence I have decided let me join MCAP. MCOM, I don't know. I was just targeting 2 universities, Andhra University in Vizag, Nagarjuna University in Guntur.
Okay.
So this university, if you go, then my parents also, they don't want to spend any money also. At least you can get a free education, and then maybe you will get any bank job in bank. I thought that itself is like a big job in my life. That would be great achievement.
Right.
That was the thinking at that time. Then my uncle, my mother's brother, was doing the MTech at Annamalai University
Okay.
in Tamil Nadu. And his close friend is a chartered accountant.
Okay.
Somewhere they would have spoken both. And then he has clearly told one thing. Either you do it CA or focus on agriculture.
Okay.
No choice is given. And till BCom, I just followed. Someone says like a be it in the my +1, +2 in the BCom, someone says, okay, study. That's what is my always is follow. Whether how difficult it is, what it is, without thinking, just follow someone says. But CA is like a tough course. If I have to tell you those days, it is like if 100 students writes, the maximum either 1 or 2 students will pass. And I never realized I don't have any strong background in English. But CA, no Telugu medium. You have to compulsory study in English and pass. So somewhere we went in end of 88 to Chennai, because Chennai was the famous for chartered accountancy, not in Hyderabad those days. We went there. We met one person who is pursuing CA for like 11 to 12 years. He was fighting with CA course, 11 to 12 years, not even passed one group. Then he understood our background. 3 of us went. He said, you guys unfit for CA. You guys don't have any English experience. Why you are thinking chartered accountant? Very difficult. Please don't pursue CA. Go back. Either you focus on agriculture or join some MCAP or something. He has advised. But as usual, I am a person like always, once something I decide, then I want to attack, and then suppose I want to see the success. That is my always style. So I never understood what is how difficult it is CA, whatever it is. Okay, someone has advised, just join, crack it. That is only the goal.
So MBN, I think my point of view here is, I think I understand that, probably that time you might not have that awareness. Probably I'm sure you're not even aware what is CA, how many times you have to attempt, etc., so on. I think that power of belief, okay, you thought అంటే నేను చేయగలుగుతాను అన్న ఒక ఫీలింగ్, ఎమోషన్ అనేది, అంటే how did you carry forward that?
So-
అంటే generally people coming from a very humble background or a small village, people have a self-doubt, whether I can do or not, or whether I can go to that level where people can, take you as an example or something like that. How did you, what is that thing made you so motivated that you have believed yourself and you've taken that step ahead?
So sometimes I think it's ignorance is like a blessing.
Okay.
It's like a self-confidence, because whatever way I've seen the success in my studies, I don't know, be it in SSC, be it in my +1, +2 or BCom, how I've seen the success. I thought if I put the efforts, I can crack the CA. That is a self-belief is the one. That is what is, I think, made me to join CA. Then once I joined the CA, then I realized I've just joined somewhere in like a very difficult course.
Okay.
But once I think I joined, then I don't want to go back. In my batchmates, I don't know, suppose college, almost I think 8 or 9 people have joined, and within a month, 3 to 4 people have discontinued.
Okay.
It is impossible to crack, so they've discontinued. Today they're at hometowns, and I know. Still, I have a good relationships with them. Then, after joining CA, I realized the only to crack, I have to get a grip on English. That time only I realized. Till that time, no realization, I think, how English is important in the life. Then, at that time, I joined English coaching. First,
Okay,
I did the
awesome.
English coaching. I learned how to construct, how to write a sentence. That's what I think. First, I started that. I used to write a diary daily evening, from morning to evening, what did I do? And then next day morning, go to whoever is an English expert. So how did I write? Where did I do mistake? Could you please advise? So like that, I learned the English. That is the starting point.
Awesome.
That's how I picked up the entire English. I think that was happened somewhere 1989.
Okay.
Then if suppose CA, you have to, if you pass, is a 3 years. There are, those days used to be like a 4 groups, in the intermediate 2 groups, and then final 2 groups used to be there. Then I've decided, having come Telugu medium background, then let's not attempt both the groups one time. Let's try to crack each group wise. So I gave my first attempt in November 1989.
Okay.
Believe me, even before going to the exam also, like there's a auditing paper used to be there. Can I write English in the exam hall? To that extent, I think a lot of fear used to be there. But God has given great gift. Once I study something, always is like a excellent reproducing capabilities God has given it. No, that is a gift to me. So then in the first attempt, I cleared the first group. That was like a major success. Major success. So I'm good at like in the studies. At the same time, I'm also very active in the social activities, going to the movies, going to see all. I'm how active in the studies. Other side also, I'm very active. So after passing the first group, second group, little bit, I relaxed.
Okay.
Then I failed.
You used to bunk college and go to movies?
I used to do lot, for the movies, suppose any of the social activities, wherever it is there, you can see very naughty. It's like a very naughty, I can tell you. I don't know in this broadcast, should I tell you?
I really want you to tell. I really want you to. Please share some naughty things you have done in your college.
Like in Chennai, those days, suppose any Telugu movie, entire our Telugu industry used to be there in Chennai.
Correct.
So any Telugu movie, first they put the shows for like all the entire hero, heroines, producers, directors. I think that's how I think they used to do. There is a film chamber, Mount Road used to be there. There, whenever suppose if the release movie, if this is Friday, they used to put shows in Wednesday, Thursday. It's like in the afternoon show, in the first show, second show. And then somehow we want to see the movie. That is the goal. So it's like how I used to study. And similarly for movie also, I have so much of passionate.
Okay.
Then somehow I crack and then catch hold of someone. Used to see all the movies.
Who is your favorite hero?
My favorite hero is Balakrishna.
But let me ask the other side. Who is your favorite heroine?
Who is your favorite actress?
Anushka. Okay. So like that, I used to have a
Just to
very
clarify,
good
Anushka Shetty or Anushka?
Anushka Shetty. So I'm very clear. So that's how I think the second group I failed. When I wrote second group, I failed. Then I realized, no, MBN, you have to go back to your, you should not compromise on your strength. Then once again, I realized myself. It's you should go back, you should study. Like in the first year, I can tell you, because of to learn the English, to pass this group, I used to study daily 16 to 18 hours.
Oh.
16 to 18 hours. First year. Like November 88, I went to Chennai. November 89, I gave my first attempt exam. Not even no movie, nothing. Only studies, going for tuitions. His only goal is how to crack CA. That's it.
Right.
Not, I don't know, suppose like, no, today I have studied like 10 hours, let's go enjoy. That's not at all is like a motive. Always is like a one aim, CA should be passed.
Awesome. I mean, just on this context, generally, people coming from, smaller villages to the towns and cities to study, usually when you're part of a journey, when you're part of a class, okay, usually how did you collaborate with other people? Did they humiliate you that you don't know English, that you're from a Telugu medium, especially in Chennai? Like, how did you balance this kind of a things, and how did you motivate yourself to go forward?
So you reminded me one great example. That also is like a clear best example. When I joined for costing tuition. Then the professor has asked. I think we used to have around 150 to 175 students. He did not ask any question to answer or anything. He just chosen. He has asked me to just study the problem from the book. It is
Okay.
only English, just you have to read.
Hmm.
Nothing, you need not explain, you need not ask any question, nothing.
Hmm.
I just stood, and then not even because I have so much of fear, not able to read the English, I just stood. Then he made a one comment, if you are not able to read the problem, why did you join CA? Do you think you can pass CA? In front of like so many students, 150 to 175 students. That is the question I think he has posed. Being like I am a village background, I just here left. Not bothered about that question, but always is bothering. Someone is like humiliated, I think, in front of so many students. That was then in back of my mind. When I passed the first group, costing is one of the subject. I got the highest marks in my that subject. Then I went to him. Look, if you remember, you have humiliated me. You said like, why did you join CA? See, like today, I got so much of marks in the casting is highest.
This reminds me of movie Pushpa.
So I think this also reflects.
Then he said, that's why, my dear student, because of me, you have got this so many marks. So that is where is like sometimes I think whatever happens in our lives, be it in the personal or professional, first, we should not lose our confidence. We should have like our self-confidence, and then we should, what you have strengths, those I always believe you have to use those strengths I think to move on in the life.
Right.
That is the best, as far as according to me, if you ask me, that is the best way of like get the success in the life. Otherwise, one thing I always feel, maybe it is right for everywhere, we should not have any comparisons in life.
Absolutely.
If you once you have a comparisons, then problem what happens, then your self-confidence will go down.
I mean, I have one question on this part, because in your journey you have given in instances where you have failed English and you wanted to come back to agriculture. Again, in CA, you went first month itself, it was a shocking that you don't know English and you have to. Now, you mentioned about self-belief, all these things is fine, but how do you create that? Because it's not easy. Easier said than done. So, is it because of your parents, the way they brought you up, the way they inculcated your, the qualities in you? How did you ignore the entire world and still believed yourself? What was the mantra? Because it's, as I said, it's a great statement, self-belief, self-confidence, but you still have to internally work on yourself.
So once again, Amit, here is like I always used to believe self-confidence is the mantra. Irrespective of whatever it happens, I think once you have a great confidence, then I think you should be able to crack it. And then sometimes what happens, I think if you have so much of aspiration, I have to do, because as a boy, I think I don't have such aspirations. I don't have like I have to crack this, otherwise I think my life is gone. I don't have such aspirations. So always I think suppose what I enjoy, like even I think without thinking about how difficult it is. And then at the same time, suddenly I used to be get like a very good grip on the studies. That's where it is helped. So overall, just if Gautam, if I have to come back, I can tell you very proudly, given Telugu medium background, how I joined CA within 3.5 years. Because like in the intermediate second group I failed. That's why there's a 6 months it took. I can proudly say, like a 3.5 years, I passed the CA.
Awesome. Great.
I passed the CA. It was miracle, I can say that. Like if you see like where, how I've just progressed in my studies. And then if I compare, I think those days also many of my friends are there. People like right from the beginning, English medium. All these things. But I always believe, I don't know why I was able to crack my CA within 3.5 years. Dedication, self-confidence. Then clearly the CA has to be passed. That's it. That is only the goal. And then whatever efforts I have, then everything we put it. Then that's where we crack the CA. So May 92, I gave my final exam. Then I started my professional life in August 92.
Awesome. I mean, what was your first reaction the moment you saw the result?
It was more than, if I have to say, out of 4 groups. If you ask me today, when I thrilled, when I passed my first group,
Okay.
that was could be somewhere January 1990.
Okay.
Those days, Sadhana CA days, we used to get the results in the midnights
Okay.
in the Chennai. Then we used to go and stand in the queue. It's like a lot of tension whether we pass or fail. And then we used to wait for 2 hours in the queue. Then when you go and see in the name board, you will just see your roll number, name. If name is there,
You're
only
passed.
pass. If name is not there, fail.
Okay.
Only pass or fail only you can see at that midnight. And then if there is like 100 students, there are like either 1 or 2 students only will pass. Then balance 97, 98 people used to get a disappointment. Whether you're in that category, whether you're in this category is like a huge problem. So that's how is like when I passed my first group, I thought a boy, I don't know, he came from like a Telugu medium, and then just his name in the board is like a really, I don't think, I don't know, I have a joy what I got at that time versus, I don't know, even if today, if I had, I don't know, if you give me like a big money also, if you ask me, which one you will weigh more between this or this, I always weigh this. That joy is like a, you cannot count with money.
Whom did you share the joy with? The first person?
First person is a midnight. It was like only is like my roommates, and those days also there's no telephone, nothing.
Right.
No phones, nothing. If you have to do phone also, and in my village also no phone. It's always we used to, communication is like this letters. So this was like a night to only my roommates, and then I don't know, we just enjoyed.
Sembian, one interesting fact which is coming out in your journey is the focus on the goal. And invariably, I have observed that you have always achieved your goal. Now, in today's generation, this is very different. You know, people get into, I'll do CA, they get into it, they try for a couple of times, move on, I'll do MBA. If not MBA, I'll do something else. Even in corporate worlds, you know, I try this function, if it is not working, I'll do. So people are not sticking to their goals. Now, if I have to learn from you, what made you, target, first of all, select a particular goal, and once you entered into it like a CA, where there were a lot of hurdles, including English, etc., what made you continue, and what made you achieve that? I mean, if you can throw some light around that, and it will be of great learning to a lot of us here. And I've also seen, since we have worked together many years in Dr.Reddys, even in corporate world, I've never seen you not achieving a single target. Once you decide, means we know it will be done. So how it is happening? What's your secret around it?
If MEN decides one side, war is one side.
So, firstly, Amit, this is a very great question. I don't think there is a single answer. It is always, first it comes from a person. What do you want? I don't know, that's where I said that, first of all, for any aspiration, I always suggest that we should not have a comparison. You should always go by what you want to achieve. And for that, what you have to do. Sometimes your time may not come. You must have a little bit patience. Then till it comes, till that what you want, till it knocks your door, a person must have a patience, be it in the personal life or professional life. Suppose, I don't know, even in this is my 25th year in Dr.Reddys. I always, I know, when I was working Dr.Reddys, one day I want to become a CFO for Dr.Reddys. That is my goal. I don't have any other goal. I don't know, suppose this thing journey in Dr.Reddys. I have always is like a clear aspiration. One day I want to become the CFO for Dr.Reddys. This is the goal. And as part of this journey, so whatever I have to contribute, I never compromised, never lost my confidence. In this journey, there are several times, I don't know, there are difficult moments also were there.
Absolutely.
But I always, goal is like how I can become the CFO for Dr.Reddys. That's the goal. And as part of the journey then, so that what I'm trying to say is like we should not shift our aspirations, goals, depends upon the context. If there are difficult time comes, we have to withstand, we have to overcome without losing our self-confidence. If you are clearly working on that, maybe sometimes, I don't know, it's what you want you can achieve immediately. Sometimes it will take longer time. I still recommend to the, even, I don't know, suppose younger generation, our peers, our colleagues, always, I don't know, be clear on your goals. Be clear what you want to achieve. And at the same time, this is very easy to aspire these goals. But at the same time, we must put it our 100% efforts. Without efforts, if you have goals, if there is a imbalance between these two, it will never, I don't know, sink. So a person continue to put the efforts, continue to have a same goal, and one day, if these two goes like a parallel tracks, and one day I'm very confident a person can crack their aspirations and goals.
I mean, but that's a very good point, Amit. In certain cases, for example, people fail. Reasons could be a number. That mindset of accepting failure and getting another try, how did you develop this kind of a capability? Because generally people once fail, they get demotivated. We see a lot of cases like that. So how did you overcome this kind of a challenge?
I strongly believe failure is a great learning. Failure is a great learning. If a person is have a failures, more than success, from failure a person can learn lot. But only the crux there, failure should not, it's not like a demotivated. We have to see where did I do the mistake, how can I correct. So that is called is like a learnings. Once from the failures, I think if you just take the good part, then the failure can lead to a great success.
Awesome.
I think
Great
it's
success.
a great point, and I'd just like to elaborate a little bit more around this. I think success and failure are part of life, so we should not get very overwhelmed with it, both at the time of success and failure. But one very slight different point of view, what you said, focusing on goal, etc. Now, during your journey as a target to become a CFO of Dr.Reddys, I'm sure there would be many opportunities would have come to you. And we know that you have been awarded many times as the most eligible CFO in the country, etc. So I'm sure many companies would have come and tried to get hold. And you still know that there are many years to go before you become a CFO. How did you hold that, so to say, attraction or moving away from this goal to becoming other company's CFO, etc. So how did you do that? I mean, that shows your confidence also, that you believe you had in you that you will become a CFO. But it's very difficult, more from financial perspective, designation perspective. You get famous because you become a CFO. So ignoring all this, you still continued. So how did?
So before I answering one question, I have to, I must speak. about, I don't know, suppose it's like a till qualifying CA. Now, my wife Shobha entered in February 95. We married. Today, if I see, like I see, there are two parts in my life, up to 95, then post 95. So today, if I reach to this level, her contribution in my success is like a, I don't know, I cannot count it, I cannot value it. It's like a, she has contributed, I don't know, in my growth journey significantly. She is like a, clearly Gautam was asking, what do you do when you go to supermarket, what you see? First of all, I never gone to supermarket. My contribution to the house is zero. I can say that. I don't focus everything today. Suppose if I have, why I always think about my goal, my aspiration, because I don't have any issue where I have to think about, I don't know, house, even I don't know, some relatives are there, even at whatever activities. She is the person. She is the, is like a boss for the house. I'm like only just one guest, I don't know, suppose I come and then that's what is that. So she takes care of that, and then she made significant contributions in this entire journey. So the next question what you have asked is like a
Distractions in your journey, and how do you avoid that?
it is once again, I don't know, I mean, whatever way it is, like a many times I think there will be like a, you get like a several opportunities what you have asked
Right.
outside, or like a several of your friends will say why you are continuing, I don't know, why you cannot do different, you based on your experience, I don't know, you can get it.
Just on that context, Amian, for faster growth, people switch. But you did not choose that. You stayed in 25 years in the same company. That's the, I think, broadly what could be the agenda behind that.
It's very difficult, Gautam. I'm just saying as a person, I don't know, today, especially I see from many of the people, that's where I believe, it's my personal belief. People think, I don't know, if there is a too much of changes, I don't know, the growth or opportunities comes, I don't know, quite natural. Sometimes I think it can work, but most of the times I think it won't work. It's my personal belief, I don't know, that's what personal view. Here, it's like a very, especially when the difficult moments are there, like when you get like a very, tempted offers or something on hand other side, then this side I think you will have a difficult situations, what you want to achieve, I think this is what is not happening. So definitely today's world, I think many people will choose
Right.
what you have a opportunities which are easy to.
Correct.
That's where it happens. But in my case, I have a being like my self-confidence level is very high, and really I have a clear confidence what I'm contributing. One day I can become CFO of Dr.Reddys.
Awesome.
So that is a single belief, and then I never ever compromised on my efforts.
Excellent.
Whatever it comes, I don't know, suppose I will be, Amit knows, I don't know, many of the times, I don't know, difficult situations. Not even as in a single time, I lost my confidence.
Mhm.
Why this opportunity is not coming to me? Then why should I work?
Right.
So much efforts you are putting, and then I think we should not work. Never ever come to my mind.
Excellent.
I always enjoy how to contribute to the company's growth.
Understood.
That is a single mantra. I also tell, like if you ask any of my finance team colleagues, MVN always ask for value contribution. That's nothing but, I say, quantitative. Numbers have to be there, not qualitative. Both are important, qualitative and quantitative, both are very much important. If without quality, quantitative will never come. But some people will stop at like a process level. They may say, we have contributed, I think, very well to this process. that's absolutely fine. Now, my humble submission, like a suggestion, from there, stretch further how that process improvements and whatever you have done, how that can be converted into the value.
Excellent. How that can be translated into value.
Translated into the value.
Mhm.
Once you translate into the value, that is where you are going to be like a differentiated person as compared to others.
All right. Absolutely. Right.
Otherwise, today I see many times certain people, wow, I've done this so much of excellent contribution, I've strengthened this process. They believe that process, suppose. I suggest from there one more step, how that can be converted into the value.
Right. This is a very interesting insight.
One important aspect, just going back to the goals. One is a journey like MVN where it's one of its own kind. But if you really look at, when you look at the goal setting, I think my perspective is we need to know what is my capability and what is the aspiration I'm doing. And if I'm aspiring or if I'm targeting something, I have to work on it. Just aspiring will not help. We need to, if I have to identify what are the things I have to do to achieve that, work on it, work hard, build up the skill sets, try to do what it takes to reach there. And in that journey, I personally feel that if you realize that there is a shortfall and you may keep on trying, but there is a clear, you may not be able to achieve it. There is no harm in going back and chasing another goal or targeting something different which will align with your skill sets, capability, and
Right.
Because if we keep on targeting, I mean, MBN's passion and skill sets, everything matched, but not everybody will have that journey.
True.
And there is no harm in resetting your goals, but have to be very mindful on what is your capability and what are the skill sets you have and what more needs to be done to reach that. Once you realize that, then it has to be single focus. Then all the distractions will keep on coming, but you have to be focused. But this resetting is very important in life.
Got it.
I completely agree. Here, I think there is no one-way process. It's like a iterative process. But only in this, I think, suppose we should not change our aspirations,
Absolutely.
goals according to the situations.
Absolutely.
That is the only. Just I think we have to be mindful.
Absolutely.
But MN Amit, my understanding in a corporate setting, okay, not every team effort can be translated into value. Okay, some teams are there which can be measured only qualitative, might not be quantitative. So in that case, what is the view? Like, what's your take on that? Because end of the day, we can't say that those people are not attributed anything to or not contribute to the value of the company. In that case, what kind of a recognition we should provide to them, or like what's the take overall on that process? Because some activities,
very tricky and great question what you are asking.
Just one thing, because productivity is very, very important. At the same time, some activities which are based on the productivity, might not every activity can be, for example, it could be HR, it could be different functions are there internally. That time, what is your take? I mean, how would your thought of that?
So let me put it this way. You take maybe finance function. We call them as enablers.
Right.
And also entire finance team partners with business teams. So you can say, I'll put a right process. Then if a finance person thinks, ultimately just as a process, what will happen? Process, you put it, you've given to the business person.
Right.
Then if you believe you are a finance person, I think you have your responsibility just to ensure the right process, I don't know, suppose guidelines, whatever you call it. Ultimately, whatever you do, somewhere that has to convert into the value. Be it as whether you are directly responsible or indirectly responsible. It is like that is where I think a finance person stretches with business teams. Like need not be like a directly responsible, indirectly. If suppose is a business person has to get X value, and because of your interventions, because of your support, that X plus what it can become. That's what I call it as a value contribution.
Okay.
Be it, I don't know, you take any DIPEX person, HR person, a finance person, anyone. Ultimately, it's a company has to get value.
Right.
In this journey, how you can contribute, whether it's a directly, indirectly, that's what I'm referring.
Got it.
I think it's a very, very important point, because many times we get carried away with processes and SOPs in the company, but those things should not become a hurdle to the business, number one. Number two, we should always try to simplify and see how we can enable business to grow and generate more profits for the company. And when finance comes into picture, one thing is for very sure is we ensure things are done in the right way. And within that right framework, there are various ways of, like you are a DPEX person, IT person, you can generate a lot of insights through AI, through data, and that insights can help business achieve more revenues, more profits, cost saving, etc. So I think we are not saying we have to go and sell products, but somewhere we have to contribute in generating more revenues and the profits for the company, because the role of finance has changed a lot and it is ever changing now.
Right.
It's no longer about bookkeeping, it's no longer about reporting. That's given. I think we are now a business partner, enabler of the business, keeping in mind that compliance and risk is also an integral part of finance. So I think, and with this technology coming in, especially the data insights, AIs, I think the role of finance is absolutely changing ever. And many companies you would have seen, not just here, but if you look at across the globe, there are many companies where CFOs have ultimately become CEOs of the company, which would mean that CFOs is operating in a very business mindset, in a mindset where profit is a driver and he helps drive the business. There are many companies in the world, and in fact, our CEO, who Ares, was one point of time was a finance person, and in his earlier company, and now he's a CEO of a global.
Just to be on that, do we require CA compulsory to become a CFO?
No.
No, not at all.
And Dr. Reddys, you have like a showman. Umang Bora is like a MBA. It's not. I don't know. Suppose once it become like a to CFO is like a how you see the situations, how you drive how you balance the short term versus I think long term goals. It is like once you have a rich experience, is not a CA is like a mandatory to become the CFO.
Amit, coming to you now, what's the story looks like? How did you start your finance journey, and where are you from? Like, please let us know.
So fortunately, God has been very kind to me. We were from a middle class background, so I've got everything what I wanted in my journey. But interesting fact is my entire family is from the business background.
Okay.
And both from my mother's side and my father's side, everybody is a businessman. And you won't find anybody doing job or forget about professional. So till class 8, I always thought I'll join my dad's business. Focus was to complete 10, go to college, have fun, and then join business, like my brother was planning. But as you know, there is always some divine intervention, and I'm a firm believer that God is always there to guide you. So in class 8, I was good in studies, but never putting so much of effort. There was a science teacher who used to also teach maths, and he somehow was fond of me. Not because I was always a notorious guy in the class, but he somehow, when I came to class 9, he told me, focus on this, focus on that. And I said, he's just trying to guide me. Let me do what he's telling me to do. Interestingly, in first term, in class 9, guy who never came in top 10 till class 8 suddenly came first in the class.
Okay.
So I was also very surprised. What has happened? And then he called me and said, "You have a potential. Why are you not focusing on studies? Give it a shot." I always said, my focus is not there. I want to go back to business. I'll always join my dad's business. But then he said, studies will always help you. Why? Do your best and see what happens. And as I was going in, I realized that I was enjoying studies more than anything else.
Okay.
I was very heavy on sports. So focusing everywhere, like sports, studies. And when I came to class 10, we were having ICSE board.
Which sport is to play?
Sorry?
Which sport is to play?
Cricket.
Cricket. Okay.
Yeah. So I played up to under 16 I almost went to Bengal selections.
Oh,
So
nice.
up to that. But when I came to class 10, it was ICSE board and I topped the school. Got very good marks in maths, 99 out of 100. One of its first kind in that point. Now I think a lot of people get it, but those era, it was first time. Then again I focused in class 12 and I got a very good tuition teacher. So
Okay.
again he guided me that 12 if you get more than 90%, you can get in this college. So I got very good marks in 12, again topped the school. And I was very fortunate to get admission in St. Xavier's College, Calcutta, which is one of the best colleges in the country.
Okay.
After Sriram College Commerce, St. Xavier's Commerce is one of the best.
Okay.
So I went in there and then realized that I can do much more in studies than going back to business. And and I'm very fortunate. My parents never pressurized me that you have to study or you have to come to business. They said, do whatever you want to do. We are always there behind you. But make sure you are honest in whatever you're doing. And be committed. And have focus on your target. You fail, you success is a different matter. Give your best and do whatever you want. So that helped. There was never a pressure on me to achieve something or show it to someone and I think things just went on. And as I said, there is a divine intervention, God's blessings, parents' blessings, one after another. I cleared, even CA was a very memorable journey. I almost cleared everything for short. There was only one time where in intermediate we had BCom exam and intermediate exam on the same day.
Okay.
So that too I gave, same timing, same day. So I completed BCom instead of 3 hours paper, I completed 2 hours, traveled, reached half an hour late to the CA exam, got a special permission to reach late and attempt. All this we did and fortunately I cleared CA for short all through. And so it's been a very, but I would say it demanded a lot of dedication, hard work, focus. It does not come easy because I had to sacrifice a lot. At one point of time, I had to choose between cricket and profession.
Okay.
So I always felt I was very good in cricket. So after class 10, I gave away my cricket coaching, professional way of playing. I completely focused on studies. Then I used to also play guitar. So after class 12, I stopped guitar also because I was not able to focus. So in the journey, there were some choices I had to make, but I think things have paid off well. Professionally, largely I worked in 2 companies. When I became CA, I got selected in Tata Sons, worked in Tata Group, largely in Tata Communications. I have very fond memories of Tata Group. I have a mentor in Tata Group who I'm still connect with, Mr. Harish Avichandani, who is right now global CFO of Ola. Once I left Tata, I never thought I'll be able to work in a company like Tata. But fortunately, again, I joined Dr.Reddys, and MBN is the person who took my interview.
Oh, okay.
And
But Amit, I think.
But only one thing, yes, Gautam.
Yes.
Had you continued cricket, I think we would have seen you in the IPL matches.
not
What is
really.
going on?
That time IPL was not there.
Instead of seeing it, Dr.
That time
we would have
IPL
seen you in
yeah.
playing for any of the
Correct.
state, I think. No?
But that time IPL was not there. So
No.
that distraction was not. But anyways, MBN took my interview and thanks to him, I'm in Dr.Reddys. And that's how it is. It's 15 long years now. There's been many ups and downs in the journey,
Awesome.
but I think we need to work hard. We need to be focused, dedicated, and you need to be honest in whatever you're doing. And very importantly, do whatever with a lot of passion. Passion is not there, then whether it's sports, whether it's studies, whether it's profession, nothing can help you.
What I think, Amy and Amit, what I so far understood here is, I think one, you're saying self-confidence and you're saying hard work, that determination, commitment towards it. I think first accomplishing small goals, maybe for you 10th class it could have been, or 11, 12, for the same thing. I think once you start accomplishing small goals has started giving you much more confidence in you.
Absolutely.
Okay. That small steps has become a large step for you. I think in a journey, if you look at it, I think that's something critical. The small step, if you have failed it, you people have not taken a step back. You still gave it a try. You people are committed. You people were consistent. And you people were like, yes, I need to do that. You people have done that. Post that small steps have gained you much more larger, where today people are leading one of the pharma giants, which is globally a very reputed generic player. I think that's excellent, Amit and Emian. But on the same context, generally mathematics it could be, or CA, finance, it's a nightmare for many people. Trust me, even today I don't understand all those jargons in finance. But how did you people get that? For example, for a doctor, maybe these names of the medicines, it's so complicated. Similarly, for finance, they have their own language. How did you guys get that flavor? Probably maybe I can start with Amit, then I can.
So I think it's also about your interest, what you want to do. You can't be playing football when you are interested in cricket. Same way you can't be doing commerce when you are interested in science, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
First, you need to know what's your interest, and then hard work has to be there. So if you're interested, if it is your liking, I think that's where the first step is.
Okay.
Coming to small success, it's very important because it builds on your confidence. For me, clearing CA was a big high. I still believe when I cleared my CA final is one of my most memorable moment in my life. And second most memorable was when my daughter was born.
Okay. Okay.
So, but still, clearing CA is still my first.
Okay.
So that is, it boosts your confidence. It gives you a path in your career, clarity in your life, and believe me, it's still one of the toughest exams in the country, and it doesn't come easy. So that's how it is.
What about you, Amit?
So you are very well said, Gautam. Is like always at the incremental approach,
Right.
like a small success that I think gives you enough confidence. Then what you are thinking, what you are doing, in the both I don't know personal or professional, I think the same approach it can work.
Right.
Certainly, it will work. I'm just saying, that's where otherwise, without achieving the small goals, you cannot think like a big bold goal. That big bold goal has to be there, and then I don't know, for each step, I think you have to see the success, and then I don't know, you can achieve that.
Right.
So that is the right approach. There's no doubt on that.
Absolutely. Amit, CAs are known as the steel frame of India.
And also,
Okay.
just one more thing you have asked, I don't know, suppose how you guys have become, I don't know, each of the profession is like a clearly, there's a lot, I don't know, a person has to learn.
Right.
Of course, I don't being like we are the finance professionals, I think naturally whatever we do is like in the finance function, we can learn, definitely we can. But at the same time, in today's world, if you have to success, if you are a finance person, I don't know, if you are only restricted to the finance domain, it will not be helpful.
Right.
A person, if you have to become like an all-rounder, need not be knowing in depth, but nitty-gritties of like each of the area. Suppose a person must have a full understanding. Then only, suppose when you grow in the career, then what happens here, if you don't have those, if you don't pick up those areas, then I think a lot of hurdles, a lot of I think challenges can come in your professional journey. So at the same time, when you're building your career in the respective areas and what is required in other areas, a person must invest the time and must pick up, I think, those learnings, and then it can, then it becomes, a person can become very solid professional.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And just to add here, I think whichever industry one works and whichever company, you should know the industry, you should know the company.
Domain expertise. you
Domain expertise is must. You should have functional knowledge, but also what is company doing? What are the other functions? Like if I'm in pharma, I should understand how the medicines are made.
Right.
I just can't be saying that debit, credits, P&L, balance sheet. No, we have to understand the entire manufacturing process, clinical trials, how medicines are getting approved in the countries, what are the nuances around it. Then only one can contribute. Then only one can enjoy the work. Otherwise, you're not just there to just report the numbers. And if you really want to contribute across, you have to have an end-to-end view about whichever industry you're working on, whether it's pharma, manufacturing, or anything. So
Right.
that's very important.
Amit, I have a question to you. Today, CS are known to be the steel frame of India. Okay. It's said that CS have the power either to make India or break India. Okay. Now, if you look at our GDP, I think this year somewhere we are trending 4+ trillion nominal. In case if you want to reach 5 trillion or 6 trillion, whatever the projections in future, it's in the hands of the CS. Okay. Now, when you compare to the mature markets, it could be US, Europe, or China, etc. stuff. I think we are still lagging. Okay, you think CS have any critical game in this? Why we are still underdeveloped? Why we are still developing? Where some countries have boosted the economy to exponentially, like in a very short span of time, they have gone very high. Now, when we have such a strong curriculum, such a strong mindset in terms of education, etc., so on, where are we lagging? Are the CS trying to help some people in a negative way, or is it like just want to understand where is the leakage basically? Any thoughts on this? Probably I can start with MV and then.
So it's I have a different view, Gautam. Here it's not either, suppose even a few of the examples also I can quote. Certainly India is like a growth where suppose our honorable finance minister, what she is speaking, where we want to achieve 5 trillion, and then so certainly we are in the right path. And in this journey, I can say it's CA professionals, I think, are playing crucial role. Apart from CA professionals, I don't know, today it's not only CAs, I think all other, be it MBAs or suppose digital savvy, many people are contributing to this journey. So like if I have to speak, you can see we have implemented for country GST in 2017. When we started, our collections are less than, it's like 1 lakh crores or something. But now you see like over a period of is 7 to 8 years, how much the collections have improved. In this journey, definitely if you have a right system and a right process, and then if you simplify, if you are helping the businesses, the growth naturally it will come. So that's where I see that more than it's CAs are playing like a very crucial role in this entire journey. So like to have a right compliance and governance, and then helping the country as well as helping all the entrepreneurs as well as.
So you're saying there's no leakage?
I'm saying, of course, in any system there will be leakage. I'm not saying that leakage is zero, but always we have to see where we have a positive side, then we have to move on, and then how we can minimize these leakages. Thereby, we can continuously see the growth. Otherwise, if you are focusing on the just trying to see the how you can minimize the leakages, of course we have to do, But rather than focusing this side, I think rather than, I think where there's a opportunities potential is there, if you play on that, and then I think the growth automatically comes.
Right. Amit, I have a question for you. How pharma finance is different from other industry finance?
I think very interesting, and also if I personally look at my journey, I always wanted to get into an industry which can help make difference in people. And pharma is an industry where we make medicines, and and medicines can help save lives. Dr. Reddy believes in good health can't wait, and we really live to our purpose of making available affordable medicines to the patients and on at the right time. Finance has a huge responsibility of making sure that goods are procured at the right price. We can contribute in many ways, helping reducing the cost of manufacturing, helping removing the wastages, identifying the leakages, identifying the wastages, giving insights so that we can procure raw materials at the right price, capturing the market. So overall, I think finance can play a massive role in pharma, and that's what we have been doing also. That how do we optimize on the cost of production? How do we optimize on operating cost? We have an agenda in Dr. Reddys where operational excellence becomes a very integral part of the way we live, and finance is also the core part of that drive. So each of us in Dr. Reddys finance are very proud that somewhere or other, directly or indirectly, we contribute to the lives of the people. And I think that's a massive, when I go back home, I always feel very satisfied that whatever we are doing is contributing at the end of the day to help save life, eliminate diseases. And we also manufacturing lot of complex product, and we are known to launch products at a not at a very exorbitant prices. Innovator may be selling at very high price. We don't keep profit in mind always. We see where is the need, and if it means that we compromises on our margins, we do that, but make our products available. And there can be numerous examples.
Amazing.
COVID has been a time where Dr. Reddy, like many other pharma company, but Dr. Reddy were forefront in the entire journey in India, where we tried to do so many things during the time of COVID. Maybe MVN, you would like to highlight what, as a CFO, that point of time we did.
No, thanks, Amit. During the COVID time, I don't know if it's like a clearly in line with our purpose. So we have just, I don't know, firstly, what medicines are required, like be it, I think, Sputnik. So we have just, I don't know, enter into the contract, and then we tried, and then we have also brought to the India. Apart from this, and really whatever is required, I don't know, we have tied up with many of the social organizations. I think we have Deepak has played a significant role providing, I think, food to wherever is required. I think food and the transportations, even, I don't know, suppose even for some of the government organizations also, whatever is required. So we have done enough both at country level as well as in Hyderabad. So a lot of activities, I think, despite there are several challenges, always is how to reach many people, thereby we can save the lives of people. That's what I think we did. I think it was appreciated by, I think, many of the places.
Maybe some thoughts on operationally. For example, let's take the example of Tata. So when you're working for Tata Finance, finance role for Tata Communications, I think. Now in pharma, for example, let's take two different industries, totally at two different industries. How does it look like? Is that probably, I would say here, I think that the sales cycle life is too large when you compare it any retail, quick commerce, etc. Any thoughts around that?
I think the role of finance also depends on which industry we are working on.
Okay.
The what role I do in pharma industry will be very different from communication industry versus a car manufacturing industry. At the end of the day, we have to see that 2-3 things very fundamental, which is are we managing risk of the company well?
Okay.
Are we allocating capital in a right way?
Mhm.
Third is are we eliminating cost?
Mhm.
Fourth is are we enabling business
Mhm.
to grow profits? I think these are 4-5 fundamental things which will be common across.
The
And now
principles going to be same
right,
across the
right. And now the fifth thing, which is now should be on top of all the list, is tech savvy. How can finance become more tech savvy? Bring more data analytics, bring more AI in the way of functioning,
right.
which can help drive and help grow business. I think these are the common things, and based on the industry, there'll be many other things we'll have to do.
Understood. Emian,
See, I just want to add here, Gautam. One is, I think, for any of the businesses, I think, be it pharma, non-pharma, always, I think, there will be challenges. And you can improve the current performance by compromising on the future.
okay.
But that is not right for any of the organizations. Whoever it is, be it a CFO or a CEO or I don't know, suppose a top management who balances very well between the short and long term goals. So clearly that is a driving principle. So for example, if you want to improve the current performance, it's very easy. If you cut the like R&D, then straight away you can improve the performance.
Right.
But naturally, it's like you will have an issue in the future growth.
Absolutely.
Future growth. So that's where I think when you said, I don't know, suppose how we maintain, first we have to balance both short term versus long term growth. But clearly, here also we have to look at within the shop, whatever money your, whatever expenses, whatever you call it OPEX, we are having, how you can get a best leverage
Right.
by optimizing without compromising on the long term growth, and then those stories will sustain for a long time.
Absolutely. Great. So, Emian Amit, if you look at the Indian pharmaceutical industry landscape, it is expected to grow roughly around 100 plus billion by 2030 in next couple of years. What's your take on how this industry should be? Are we ready to have that number, or like are we in the correct direction from a pharmaceutical perspective?
So you're talking about India or globally?
India. So in India, we are expected to reach 100 billion market size by 2030. So from Dr. Reddys, or maybe in the general landscape, what is your thought? What should be the approach?
So this is like a always, I think, suppose is like a today in the India market, I think we have seen earlier high single digit or like a close to even double digit growth, and today it's like a somewhere the India pharma market is growing around I think 6 to 7%.
Right.
That's what is happening. But if I have to speak, I don't know, for Dr. Reddys' point of view, we are being I think confident. I don't know, suppose India market for Dr. Reddys will have a double-digit growth. How? Despite the market is at like a close to 6 to 7%. So clearly, is one area innovation. I think we are working. How we can bring the differentiated brands into the market. Thereby, it aligns to our purpose. We can provide, I think, suppose affordable medicines to the patients. So that's where I think it can cure the diseases. It will help the patients. So that is a, so as a company we are working on the innovation. Second is also wherever I think we are doing a lot of global tie-ups with multi MNCs.
Right.
So where we don't have the portfolio, we are now trying to get that portfolio so that we can build that also can give the differentiated growth. And the third is like what Amit said, I think clearly we are working on the various digital initiatives. And today any business, be it in the pharma, non-pharma, without using the available digital tools, I don't think, I don't know, we can expand the businesses. So
Absolutely.
whatever is available, and today in Dr. Reddys also, like as a finance, as a part of the finance transformation, we are building lot of dashboards, I don't know, for each of the business.
All right.
Thereby, it can give like a right data in the right time without any much efforts.
All right.
Thereby, like all the business teams and can drive the performance.
Absolutely.
So my view, like a India business, I don't know, India pharma, it will continue to have a growth.
Okay. Is it because of the cost advantage here, or like what do you think?
Certainly, there is a, suppose what the way in which I think we do the manufacturing, the way in which we develop the molecules, I think there's a clearly cost advantage. At the same time, I don't know, population also has been increasing.
Right.
So suppose if you look at, I don't know, as we know now today is like a 140 crores or something.
Right.
But it's like a population is growing, then diseases are growing, and then I think certainly there is a value for.
You think pharma is an evergreen business? For any newcomers, if they want to put up some startup in healthcare, what's your advice as a CFO?
It is always, I think there could be an opportunities will be there.
Okay.
We have to see where I think today pharma has become a very competitive market. I think it's not like a one company we will have a entire market. Is not like we are like in the competitive world, and for any molecule, I think you will have a competition. But only that how you can differentiate, how you can bring, like, you know, suppose always our G. Prasad says, how you can bring the first to market. That is the crux. If you want to have a success in the market, how many molecules you are launching in the first to market. So once you have, I think, those successes, then you can build a brand, you can have a equity with all the doctors. Then once you have these two parameters, obviously, then I think that brand I think can sustain for a long time. Then you will have a continuous growth.
Right.
So today, suppose in our portfolio, if you see, many of the brands, I don't know, we launched even 2 decades prior to 2 decades. But today, those brands are still continue to have a premium prices, and then I don't know, still a lot of equity with HCPs, and so still we are having a great business, I think, from those brands.
Great, awesome. Amit, I have a question for you. Since you're from API, I heard that you're a very fearless execution guy. Okay. Now, API is a very volatile, I think, it's a very cost competitive market. Where cost erosions just happen overnight. I mean, it's very competitive market. Right. That's what I mean to say. So, as a from a finance perspective, what's your take on that? For example, in API market, I think India stands to be the major API exporter, accounting to, I think, roughly 8% in the API global market. Okay. What, from a Dr. Reddys perspective, what is your vision for API market here?
From the API perspective, I think cost is very important, no doubt about it. But customer don't just look at cost. There are times where customer also values the suppliers, like Dr. Reddys is a supplier for APIs, the quality of the product, the timeline, deliverable timelines, new product pipelines. Because when you engage with any customer for a long-term relation, it's not only about one product supplier or short-term supply. We always try to engage for a longer-term relation, and that comes with a lot of things: timely supplies, pipeline. We have to keep on building up our pipeline so that new products can be introduced in their portfolio. So it's a difficult journey. There is huge competition around, but we have to constantly work on the cost, because that's something which hits directly to the bottom line of the company. At the same time, we also have a new way of working right now is we go to the partner, we go to the customer and say, tell us your problem and we'll solve for it. Whether it's API, whether it's your manufacturing or formulation, If some customer says that, I have a short of capacity in my formulation, we say, don't worry. We'll do a N-1 of formulation in our plant, because we are not just an API company. We are a end-to-end pharma company where we have formulations manufacturing also. So we go to customer and try to solve their problem. And that's where we can become a privileged customer, suppliers for them. So there has been times where we have different models for different customers. And the whole idea is to solve the problem of the customer.
Understood.
And then I think that's how we are now trying to.
So I think that's how you're trying to position yourself differently.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
And we have an edge around this because we are an integrated company, and customer and patients are our number one priority.
Right. Amit, I heard that you're a very serious execution guy. So in that terms, how do you manage collaboration across, because for you numbers are important end of the day. Okay.
So on a lighter note, I'm a serious executor because of thanks to MBA. Okay. No, I think as a collaboration, it's a journey.
Okay.
10 years ago, Amit Parekh was very different than now, and maybe probably after 10 years, I'll be very different. But at the end of the day, you can't behave like a finance person. You have to be, the other person should have trust on you. You should be partner to them, and that's where the collaborations helps. And the best way of doing it is to understand the problem.
Absolutely.
And do whatever is right for the organization.
Right.
The approach which I take is whatever is right for the organization, let's do for it. If it means that I have to deviate in some of my policies or some of my SOPs, I sometimes go and fight with MBA. He's a global CFO. I have to sometimes go and fight with him that, financially it is not making sense, but strategically it is making sense. Let's go for it. So that's how we have to do it. And without collaboration, you can't be working in silos. Gone are the days where you work in silos and directively do this, do that. No. You have to be partner. You have to win trust of others. Give solutions to others. You can't be just asking questions. If you really want to be successful finance person,
excellent.
You should be a solution provider as well.
Absolutely. I think that supports the point. You should be an enabler, basically.
Right, absolutely.
As a business partner. Excellent. Imian, as a CFO, okay, I think maybe not Dr.Reddys, any general pharma company, if you take it, I think we have 3 or 4 wings. One is, could be R&D, manufacturer, you have regulatory, and you have sales and marketing. Okay. Now, as your point, the collaboration among these 4 departments, 4 has to work seamlessly like a butter. Otherwise, akkada meaning undadu, basically. From a CFO perspective, how do you drive that? Is it like, because every unit has their own heads, I understand that. But end of the day, below you, you have execution guys. Okay. So you have a different vertical altogether. But horizontally, if you want to bring things together, because end of the day, GV Prasad doesn't care whether I'm from here or you're, end of the day, the output is important. So how do you drive this from a finance perspective? Because finance is a most critical thing among for this 4 verticals, I would say.
So first, this comes from the company priorities.
Okay.
It is first, we have to fix for, let us say, on the company level targets.
Okay.
So at the same time, like a company, for example, when Ares or myself, we go to the investor meetings. So as a company, we don't give any financial guidance, but at the same time, we talk about 3 primary goals on which the company is working. One is our sales will have a double-digit growth. EBITDA, 25% of the sales are above, and similarly ROC also 25%. So these 3 goals we talk, and then whatever we do, first this is like a clear goals at a company level. It's like at CEO, CFO, at the management council level. This is the top priorities for the organization. Correct. Then whatever below we do, be it at BU level, MC level, or below MC-1 level, or even at like a till operating level, these 3 are the priorities. Whatever actions, whatever we do, any of the suppose like capital decisions, investment, I don't know, suppose we are like doing, or be it in R&D decisions, what implications once you take these decisions, what will happen to your top goals.
Okay.
So that means that whatever we do, whatever decisions we take, always we have to model it, whether it will have a short-term implications or whether it will have a long-term implications. Then, if so, what are you have a mitigating controls.
Okay.
So that's how we have to see. I think that's where, and once you decide the company, all at a BU level or at an individual level should cascade the same goals. Then all of us, we are working for the same goal.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, if there is at a BU level also, if you have a different priorities that are not aligned to the company, that's where I think a lot of difference of views or a difference of lot can have many challenges. So once you link to the priorities of the BUs and the individuals to the company goals, then everyone works for that, and then it can work very seamlessly.
So I have a question to MVN. You touched upon the structure of the company, CEO, CFO. Now, how do you mean for a CFO and CEO? CFO and CEO has to work very closely, and you have worked with various CEOs in the organization in the last 25 years. What do you feel is the key for that relation to nurture well and have a trust building there? What CFO and CEO relation should be like? And when it comes to the execution of the vision and the mission of the company, how do you bifurcate what role will be played by CEO and what role will be played by CFO? Is there an overlap happen sometimes? Does there an overlap happens? And if not, then how do you make sure it happens?
Great question once again, Amit. Firstly, it's like a what CEO, CFO does. It is a complementary. So whatever actions, I think whatever we do that, and like let's take as in whatever is Ares as a CEO, myself as a CFO. We never had any big conflict of views. However, sometimes it's possible. It's in the decision making, I don't know, maybe what CEO thinks, what CFO thinks. Then we have to explain in the way in which I think, suppose convincing. Look, if you take this decision, this is what is the problem. If the same decision, if you implement I think this way, then we'll not have any issues. So it's many times I think both what CEO says and CFOs has to agree. What sometimes if CFOs also, if you have any difference of view, you have to talk to CEO. But if both of them, if they don't don't align, then definitely I think it will have a significant challenges for driving the company's growth.
Mm-hmm.
So my view, it's like a complementary, whatever actions I think both of them takes, and at least fortunately, I work with many CEOs. I don't know, suppose earlier before a days I worked with Abhijit Mukherjee. I had a fantastic journey with him. I have excellent memories, also fond of memories when I worked with him. And today also I have a similar journey. Areas I know what I do, and clearly I've been working with him very closely.
Absolutely.
And any times, even I think in this journey, there are sometimes I know difference of views, and then difference of views, just we express each other, and then I don't know, never ever had any challenges where suppose he was taking decision, I am not comfortable. I never felt I don't know in this. But even if some situation comes, once you have a strong relationships, you have that mindset, any issue, trust me, you can solve it. That is the most important, understanding each other, then respecting each person's opinion. That is the crux to drive the company's performance. The moment you get into any of the issues, then that will be a problem.
So, I want to ask one question. As a CFO, you have multiple stakeholder management. One is internal, external, board, even CEOs, chairmen, promoters. In the midst of everything, there'll be always a pressure of delivering profits. How do you handle the profit targets or profit aspirations? And is there has been a case where it has been very difficult situation and you had to take certain calls around that? If you can throw some light or examples around it.
So this is my 25th year in Dr.Reddys. Now as a CFO. Prior to this, when I was not a CFO, I was like almost, I moved from the businesses to the corporate, at least in the year of 2012. At least I know fully lost, suppose, let's say more than a decade, what exactly is happening in each quarter. I'm fully involved in almost all. Why I'm so proud about the company? We don't receive any calls either from GV Prasad or Satish Reddy. And then as a raise, just for both of them, even what is the profit for this quarter, whatever it is. Naturally, here is like as a finance team, suppose for example, now as a CFO, it's not even I don't take the decisions. My teams like you, suppose for the PSCI, you take the decision. Similarly for other business also, the BU finance heads take the decision what is a right entries to be passed, and then combination of out of that, whatever it comes, the results. That's where, and then always suppose sometimes pressure will be there, but we never compromise on our compliance, governance. If any of the suppose you have to take any of the right of decisions or any, but wherever there are sometimes suppose we call it as that non-routine transactions. That's where is like the center of excellence teams like a GFRT teams will take the right decisions, and accordingly you will move on. So what I'm trying to say, at least in Dr.Reddys, for any of the person, we don't see that pressure. And I always just jokingly everyone tells, from morning to evening you work for the office. Once you come home, as long as you have a peaceful sleep without any baggage of what you have done from morning to evening, then I feel that is a company. For that company, a person should work. I believe Dr.Reddys is like a such company, and that's why I'm very proud, and that's why I've been working for Dr.Reddys for last 2.5 decades.
I completely resonate with what he's saying, and there has been instances where we have a non-routine transaction. Just for your clarity, non-routine would mean that accounting evaluation has to be done, and it's not a normal thing. It's an exceptional transaction, and it's not a very routine thing. And there are times where I had a discussion with MBN on few aspects, but he would clearly say that we have a central team, that's the same team under him. He said whatever that team decides is the final thing. Even I can't influence. And that's the kind of compliance and role we play in Dr.Reddys Finance. But I mean, though you touched on it that profit targets, all this is whatever comes is comes. But Suite has a lot of expectations from Dr.Reddys. And there would be quarters where we would not have met the expectations of the Suite. So how do you handle that? I mean, do we try to, I'm not saying we try to manage any profits, but it would be difficult for CFO and CEO to face the Suite and explain. But how do you make sure that the trust of the Suite continues? And if you can throw some light and some learnings for us.
So obviously in the part of the journey, there will be some quarters, you will have a lower profit as compared to the expectations. And then whenever you are interacting with investors, we have to say, because of this quarter, because 1-2 reasons, there's our profits are lower as compared to the investors' expectation. This is only temporary blip, And then if you see in the future where we are working, what are the growth stories are there, what are the growth levers you have, if you are able to explain, I don't think, I don't know, suppose any of the investors is concerned about particular one quarter, I think, story. So always, I think we have to look at when we are talking to the investors, I think when you are talking to the internally or externally, you have to see how you have to narrate the story very well in line with, I think, whatever strategies you are taking. So as long as you are able to narrate and then your strategy is working, I don't see if any in the short term, if you have any quarters, I think, lower profits or I think something, should not be a cause of concern. Should not be a cause of concern.
So I know in the past there has been quarters where we have taken huge write-offs because of impairment and all. Was it difficult as a CFO to take a call on that, thinking that how would you explain to the board, how you would explain to the investors, or is it there's a full backing of whatever is the right, let us do that?
See, clearly you also know any of the decisions, first you take the decision, then you will come to me and say, MBN, look, I think this is what is happening. So it's like whether we should not worry so much. I don't know if really something we have to take any of the write-off decision, write-off or impairments or any of the decisions, we must take it. We must not, I don't know, suppose ignore. That's where I don't know, once you start, I don't know, suppose start following such type of practice, it will never end. First, as a culture, we should not allow such type of practices. Always what is right, we have to take a right decisions and move on. And then I see that will work for the company's long-term perspective. And then I don't know, from the in order to have a highest compliance and governance standards. My view today, as a Dr.Reddys, I don't know, today in the investors community, we have a biggest respect for our company, the way in which I think we do the compliance governance. Once you build the trust among the investors community, then that goes very long. Rather than if you take any shortcuts, that will have a significant impact on the company's growth.
I think that is very, very critical for customers also. I think if someone wants to become a business partner with Dr. Reddy's, having that 100% compliance, it's very good for customers, so that they give an order, they can sleep in peace. I think that's something also one of the
That's why
critical.
as part of that, I then suppose whenever even I think we are talking about the customers, and then they look at today, if you just see about 5 years back versus today, ESG compliance is like one of the biggest area most of the companies are focusing. And then today, if you want to have any new business with any customer, obviously first they will ask as the ESG, what are you doing?
Right.
And whether 5 years back, whether ESG is there, not there. Today, suppose whatever is like so that's where is like clearly they look at compliance, and then I think this type of ESG, everything is becoming very, very important to grow the businesses.
Right. MVN, for example, say next year there is a recession. Okay. So as a CFO, what's your action plan? Maybe to save the company, to save the workforce. Obviously no company wants layoffs. Okay. What's your take on this?
So always we have to predict it well in advance.
Okay.
So it's like something, it happens. It's bound to happen. I don't know if you have the countries. It's like some lot today externally what geopolitical issues. I think because of that, I don't know, there is a lot of costs can go up sometimes. I think forex volatility also. Now because of the tariffs, I think what we speak today, a lot of exactly, I think sometimes my view, there could be even, I don't know, some business models also can change.
Right.
Is really, I don't know, suppose, but that is a part, in my view, that's part of the journey. So we have to see. So whenever recession comes, I don't know, clearly what levers we have in our hand, those levers we have to work, how to control, what to do, and then I think you have to work on those levers. And then I don't know, that's where I think we have to see.
In your journey, MVN, have you ever taken a decision which you hated the most?
So maybe let me take on now today in Dr. Reddys also we have a lenalidomide is like a one of the product is contributing to our growth, and then next year is like in January 2026 the patent cliff is happening for the product, and clearly we are aware what the this product can create an impact to the organization. So we are just working on various levers. So one is like a clearly on the OPEX, whatever we have, how we can have a leverage, be it in the staff cost, in the other OPEX. Also now we have this principle already earlier is there, but now we are focusing a lot how your OPEX growth. OPEX means here like a completely all the cost, what I'm saying, be it R&D cost or right now your sales and marketing expenses, entire people cost, staff cost, what we call it, and even non-finance charges like a depreciation, amortization, all I'm putting as an OPEX. How your OPEX growth have a 50% of sales growth.
Okay.
Suppose let us say sales is growing at let us say 15%. How your OPEX can be maximum 700% growth.
Okay.
Once you have this principle, each of the business can work, and then the company continue to, even if there are certain recession, then there is a geopolitical issues or any of the forex volatility, any of these changes. Sometimes even I don't know, suppose of because of external factors, I don't know, your procurement prices also can influence and the cost can go up. So wherever I think externally whatever is happening, those are all not in our control.
Right.
What you have control, be it in OPEX or be it in the product cost, I think suppose wherever you see if in the sales also there is a potential opportunities are there, how you can tap those opportunities. So we are rather than I think suppose what the cost is going up, instead of looking at what should I do, what opportunities you have, and those opportunities we work, and then these opportunities can mitigate those risks, and then thereby you can continue to have a growth journey.
Got it.
I always feel like we have to work on the opportunities.
Okay.
And firstly, that those opportunities, we have to see what we have in our hands.
Right.
Then once you complete this, then what opportunities you have in the externally you have to think. Right. So that's where I think we have to see. We have to look at all the opportunities and then we have to work it.
Gautam, I think that's also reflects the role of finance in the current scenario.
Okay.
Finance has to give a real-time reporting and also have to have a forward-looking perspective, because gone are the days where we do a post-mortem reporting as a finance team. We as a Dr. Reddys finance team always keep on tap on what's happening ahead of us. So change is always a constant thing, we all know. But today, as he gives a couple of examples, we know 2 years down the line what will be the company's situation, what are the products coming in, what are the patents going off, what is the action we need to do today, so that by the time we reach there, we are still on the track. And that happens when finance starts looking things on a forward way. And that's where it's very important for finance in today's world, has to have a forward-looking outlook. Financial modeling, understanding of the business plays a very, very critical part.
Okay. Amit, what about you? What is the toughest decision you have taken?
In terms of business,
Yes, in the business,
finance,
in the business.
I think, when you are part of a business finance, again, role-wise it would be different, but I can give one example of, where you are part of the business as a CFO of the business and there is an impairment. Now, this is the right thing to do from accounting standpoint, but it will have a massive implication on the business, and there is a chance that business will lose its scorecard, bonus will get impacted. But there has been time like this where, but then at the end of the day, we are the last man standing in the company. And I go with that principle as finance is the last man standing in the organization, come what may. But the shareholders, stakeholders, everybody knows that there is a finance team, there is a CFO in the company who will ensure that risks are being managed and compliance is up to the mark. So we'll have to do whatever is right. So I think those kind of critical things sometimes becomes very difficult as an individual.
Emian and Amit, to you both, what I've observed, I'm a very young guy, based on my experience, what I've observed is every sales guy wants to reduce price so that he can sell easy rather taking much efforts, okay, in the market. Now, if he wants to reduce the cost, the sourcing cost has to be reduced. Finance will say, no, I cannot come beyond one number down because that doesn't apply to the strategy, whatever the XYZ. So here, how you're bridging the gap? Uh, for example, are you biased towards the sourcing team? Or are you biased towards the sales team? Like, how is that works?
I'll just touch on that and maybe MBN can add more. But first thing I want to correct here is there is nothing like sales team wants to reduce the prices, because you have to believe that whoever comes in the company to work is doing their job properly.
Correct.
If they have come up with any proposal of reduction of the prices or any opportunity where it requires some adjustment, we have to respect that. They are all qualified. They are in the company because they are capable. So we'll have to respect that and then find the solution. And sometimes, and everything is not about cost and price. That's how the brand gets built up. And business to business, it will be different scenario. But having said that, I think if the reality is that if you don't reduce the prices and you lose the business, then you'll have to work on the backward integration. How do we improve on the cost? How do we bring efficiency? How do you structure the deal with the customer? Maybe you have to go and say that you increase the volume and I'll have a leverage in my sourcing. So that's where we come into picture and structure the deal in a manner that, because my volume will go up, there will be efficiency in my sourcing and overall cost will come down. And customers also understand that. They are a partner. So that's how I think we'll have to work. Maybe Emvin, you want to add, because he has been also a very solid business partner.
Salesperson wants to reduce. It is like a dynamic.
Okay.
It is a dynamic. It's not, I don't think, I don't know, even if there is a X price is there, I don't think any of our sales colleagues want to reduce this thing. It is like a market driven prices. That is the reality. First, I think we have to believe that.
Absolutely.
If that is so, then we also operate as, suppose so much of guidelines. Suppose in Dr.Reddys, like what is a minimum throughput, I think we have to maintain.
Right.
For any of the product decision. Then both salesperson is aware, procurement person is aware. We have a same goal. It is not like the procurement different goal and then salesperson is different goal. And finance, all of us, we know whatever we are in-house, we are producing, I think we must have so much of a throughput or contribution. And then all of us, we have to work for that. And sometimes also we take exceptional calls.
Okay.
If you take exceptional calls, whether it is like a temporary, permanent, then if it's a temporary, then I don't know, for next time when this product we are selling, then what should we do? And similarly it goes on. I don't know, suppose whether it's like either you have to reduce the procurement prices or you have to improve, like suppose whatever is our manufacturing process, like what we call it as a CAP, cost improvement programs, like whatever we do, how we can get the best yield.
Right.
And earlier you are getting like X yield, and today how you can get X plus, thereby your cost can come down, and whatever price you are losing in the market, and thereby like you continue to have a same throughput or little bit lower. So it's all, I don't know, it's like as a team, I don't know, all of us have to work. Right. It is not, I don't know, each person will not have a different goals or like, they will not work.
Understood.
If once, I don't know, we work, I think any of the issues, I don't know, challenges can be managed.
And at the same time, we have certain framework below which we don't want to operate, which our sales and marketing team also knows.
Okay.
So it is there are times where we have dropped the products because it's not making sense. It's not only about top line, it's also about bottom line.
Makes sense.
So people understand in the organization, and that's why we need to communicate and explain and what is our business model, what is the way we are operating. Top line, bottom line, both are important. Right. So if those acknowledgements are there, discussions are quite healthy. Yeah. There has been time where I have been part of decisions where we have dropped the product, we have discontinued the product because it's not making sense. We kill the products many times.
Right. Emian, I have a question for you. Imagine you become a CFO for one day. What would you do?
I don't think I have a different objectives, whatever my current CEO has been doing, I will continue his journey. Because if you see after he became CEO, like how the company has grown, I will continue same. What he is driving, I'll continue to drive the same.
I mean, what's your thought on from a good CFO versus the great CFO? Any thoughts around that?
Good CFO and great CFO.
A good CFO probably is 100% compliant. He's fantastic in finance, etc., so on. He's reaching the targets,
I
etc.
don't think today if any CFO has to excel in any organization, it's not only on the focus on reporting. I don't think that person can excel.
Okay.
Today, a CFO must have, I think, first focus on the compliance and governance and how effective I think he is doing, I don't know, suppose enabling the businesses to have a right growth and clearly tapping the opportunities wherever there's a potentials are there, and at the same time like how we have a controls on the cost. I don't know, there should not be any wastages. Always I can say how you can do more with less.
Okay.
Do more with less. That should be the approach. So that's why I don't think any differentiation like a good and great CFO is like my view, a CFO must have like a today all-rounded experience. And apart from this, today is the digital is playing a significant role. Earlier, I think suppose whatever is if you are closing the books, I think today we are doing in our Dr.Reddys finance transformation like a big activities.
Right.
Very proud I think for doing that. I'm sure I think whatever we have been doing, I'm sure in the long term going forward, these initiatives I think will help to drive the business growth,
Right.
company's growth.
Amit MVN, for a finance guy, IQ is very important. Okay. If I may ask MVN, what is important to you, IQ versus CQ?
Both are required.
Okay.
It's not like a one either this or that. Sometimes I think we required I think suppose very intelligent I think decisions, I think dynamic decisions to be taken, and it's like it's both are required. I cannot say like whether if you ask me like you have two eyes, whether it's left eye or right eye is required. I always say I think both eyes are very important.
Any situations you want to share where you have showed EQ?
Many times.
Okay.
EQ, it's like suppose whatever we do, I think certainly where even I think I can tell you suppose in one initiative I think when Dr.Reddys got into the 3 plants, I think warning letters.
Okay.
So like we ran a program like I call it as a Project 360.
Okay.
So when I was like even not a CFO, this was like somewhere 2017-18, and across the company, where I don't know, suppose do I know suppose all the operations? Answer is no. And clearly Prasad has asked me, MVN, now I think we have to see what is the potential we have in the organization, because now we have so much of this warning letter issues. I think there's an impact of the new products, we don't get the sales, and then what should we do? I think something, and then we have just implemented the program. That time Fund Mitra also was just, or now Deepak's head joined, and really he helped for significantly to this process. So those times, that's where we put our IQ clearly. Wherever I think just identified, I don't know, be it in the manufacturing, R&D, in the marketing, even within the finance and all the areas, I think we have just scanned through, and I think we have done. We have achieved, I think, significant results. I can say that very proudly. That time, I think we played a lot of IQ.
Great. What about you, Amit?
No, I think nothing different. Both IQ and EQ is required. There's nothing either or.
How do you handle stress? I mean, at the global CEO level.
First, I don't get into the stress. Honestly, I'm just telling you, this is my greatest strength, whatever it comes. It's many times it's easy to pass on to the, like if it's Amit, like each of the business finance and all. I don't do that. I always think how I can help my team. They can be success. Whatever pressure is there, then I will stop with me.
Awesome. Great.
I will stop with me. But passing on is very easy. Then you will also pass on to the team. It's then the entire team will it shakes the entire system.
Excellent thought. Yes.
That is not the right approach. Always if there is something issue is there, must think very deeply a person, and then what should we do differently, and then whatever thoughts you have, you should deliberate with your team. Then you have to align with the team. Then once you align, the team will support you, and any of the suppose pressures, whatever it is there, and always you can be it of any of the quarterly profits or any other issues. Suppose sometimes we also discuss if the team attrition is happening, what should we do, how should we do differently. So there is a collective decision has to be there. Then the stress can be eased out.
Okay.
But I strongly believe the stress should not be passed on.
Great. Amazing.
That the stress should not be passed on. If you once start passing the stress, I don't think he or she is a great leader.
Awesome. Excellent thought. What about you, Amit? Like, how do you?
I think
manage
stress is again an individual thing. Pressure will always be there, and it's how you handle the pressure. If you're not able to handle the pressure, the stress would be there. And the best thing is to understand the situation and not to react. There are times when there's a tendency to react to a situation without understanding, so it creates a lot of panic situation and stress in it. I think it's always respond to a situation with ease and be mindful, understand the problem. You should know that every problem has a solution, and break down the problems into smaller things. Don't try to think a problem is a very big thing. Break it down, helps solve for it, discuss with others. If there is no solution available within this within your team or your business, there are people around in the organization who can help us. I think it's important to absorb things, and I completely agree with MVN that we should not be passing on the stress and the pressure to our team or anybody else. We should otherwise we are not a true leader. So that's it.
But I also want to add, a person must have continue to have the stress, then you will continue to generate the new ideas.
excellent.
We should not be in the a very comfort zone, coming, going, and then suppose morning I came and evening I'm going, I'm doing a routine task, then you will not have any joy.
Absolutely true.
So when you work in such type of situations, always you get new ideas, and then how you can add value to the businesses.
Right.
If you ask me, I like such situations.
Okay.
I don't feel, I never ever feel regret.
Great.
It is like this. I think simple rule. What you do if you start enjoying is it is not a matter how many hours you are working. Even sometimes if you work very long hours also, as long as you enjoy, then you will never get into the stress.
Awesome. Great. That's really great. Amazing.
And also sometimes I don't want to say exact situations. I think you get lot of times external pressures. But as long as suppose you feel any of the investigations, I'm saying with any authorities, if your conviction, if your company is not doing any wrong things, whoever puts pressure, you can withstand.
Absolutely.
You can withstand for any of the pressures. But that all goes by your conviction.
True. Excellent.
It's important to enjoy your work, and sports is a classic example. There are teams who succumb to the pressure and don't win the game. There are teams who are under pressure and wins, and even in the last over they'll be smiling and cheering each other. I think it's important to enjoy and learn to live with the pressure and move on, because life is not going to be simple black and white.
I think this is an excellent mindset, Amit, MBN. I think this trait having to someone, I think that will really, really help them in the long run. Whoever wants to, I think this is all about self leadership. It's an excellent thought, actually.
And we have to be very clear that life is not going to be simple.
This is applicable
There
in
will
the
be
personal
always.
life also.
Correct.
It is not only professional,
Absolutely.
as an office, in the personal life goes very easy. It's not the case. In personal life also, you will have a problem, I don't know, within the family, outside with the relatives. So much I think this happens. We have to take in the same way.
In fact, I've heard in one of the leadership talk that if there are no problems in your life, means you are not growing. Means you have not tried enough in your life, because if you try different thing, if you take a risk, you'll face some problems.
Amazing,
So
excellent.
if you have no problem, then you should actually go back and reflect, why am I having
You're
why am I
growing,
not having a
basically.
problem? That
Good,
means
good.
I'm not fully utilizing my capability and potential.
Absolutely amazing, amazing. And I mean, as a global CFO, you have a very big team, large team finance. Okay. The culture of finance is kind of, people say finance people are boring. Generally, that's how it's only all Excels, it's all numbers, it's all just crunching, data analysis, etc., etc. How do you keep that high spirit in them? Okay, how do you keep them, at very even high stake moments? How do you keep that motivation for them? Because I see Amit also working very late night, 8:39. Kunal, it could be many other members as well. So how do you keep that motivation in them? Whereas the rest of the officers
So
left office
did you,
early.
just on the lighter side, did you check with Amit whether 8:39 you're working? Did you exhaust, I don't know, your energy or something anytime? So it is not working up to 8:30 or 9 is, Gautam, is clearly each one of us is not, I don't know, today is like a, what I'm doing in Excel is not the criteria.
Okay.
It's a criteria is like at the end of the day, how I'm enabling, how I'm supporting, how, what value, whatever work I'm doing, what value I'm bringing to the table.
Is this the same mindset resonates with every finance guy?
I don't think so. I'm not saying like everyone will, if everyone will have, then I don't know, somewhere, I think that is a culture you have to,
Okay, got it.
you have to
Makes sense.
drive.
Understood.
And
Excellent.
people will continue to change, and that's where, I don't know, whatever is happening, we can develop that culture. Then you can move many people into that bucket.
Excellent. I
That
think the
bucket.
accountability and that.
But it's not easy. You have to clearly, suppose, I don't know, it's like I call it as a tone at the top.
Okay.
What you want to drive, it comes from, I don't know, suppose directly from the top management. Suppose if Dr. Reddys, you say what management council speaks, then it cascade to the lowest level also. That's where is the tone at the top is very important. And then what you have said, finance people today completely agree. Many times, I think finance professionals, I think within my team also puts a lot of long hours. That's where, I think, suppose clearly we have been working. Whether it's like there is a, sometimes success is there, sometimes, I think, still we have to solve the issues. If I have to say that today we have created, I think, as part of our finance transformation journey, today we do for all the reviews a lot of PowerPoint presentations and then a lot of work. So that's where we have now created a dashboards.
Okay.
So now if you see, like definitely you will also see from any of the reviews going forward, how we want to, first, if you ask me, I want, like, even, I don't know, suppose I've told my, like Amit and all others, from as part of the CFO reviews, we should not use PowerPoint presentations.
Okay.
How we can move from PowerPoint presentation to the dashboards review. And clearly from the dashboards also, we want to free certain key areas So this is what is like we have to drive. Then we want to see the progress. And here, I think the same set of data, if you have to get it normally, like what you said, finance people used to like do a lot of Excel, then PowerPoint presentations, and then so much of consolidation, so many used to happen. Now, the way in which we have created the dashboards, once we close the books, then the dashboards updates automatically. As part of that, we have looked at a lot of masters, how to automate. I think there is a lot of like we have taken decisions.
Right.
Suppose even as a CFO, I said that if any of the masters, anyone is not maintained, then let's not allow to create that masters.
Okay.
If you don't create the master, sometimes sales also may stop.
Hmm.
But if once such type of decision happens, then the same respective person, individual, whoever is responsible, whichever is the function,
Right.
then that same gap will never repeat.
Understood.
But if you are allowing such gaps continuously, then there is a lot of manual dependency. Then it's like a people dependency. Always, as if you want to get anything today, if Amit is not there, that decision, that work cannot happen.
Right.
So that's where is like in today's world is like how you can automate any of your processes and get data is like a very powerful. So that's been we have been working, and I'm sure at least as a CFO we want to minimize the work for like all the PowerPoint presentations, Excel, and also our endeavor is clearly how you can reduce the long hours. One day Gautam only will say, Amit, I see at least he is not there up to 8:30 or something.
No, I just want to clarify one thing. It's like in finance, though there is always a perception that we work long hours, but you will see one common thing, that everybody is energized, and that is because from the beginning to now also we are saying we focus on enabling the business. So whatever task we are doing, the end objective is to create value for the organization.
Right.
And that brings a lot of energy in the system. Secondly, we also have, as a part of leadership team, finance leadership team, try to eliminate what is not getting used. I mean, some reports which we have created 2 years ago will not be used by anyone today. So we keep on reviewing to eliminate the redundance,
Right.
to eliminate what is not needed, and try to bring in new things. And in this journey also, like dashboards, finance transformation, remember that though there is a lot of hard work and long hours been put in, but people are also having a learning curve there. They are also getting the exposure. Probably will be very few companies in India who is doing this kind of finance digital initiatives. So we are very proud, all of us. We all know that we have worked very hard to come to this stage. But at the same time, as an individual, I have also got an exposure about it. So it's like, when you realize all this, then even you come to meet me at 9 o'clock in the night, my energy level will be same as now.
Great. I mean, just on a lighter note, what's this? You look so fit, even Amit as well. To maintain the same energy levels till 9 p.m. or whatever that could be, what kind of a diet do people maintain? I think that is very, very critical to have that same energy level from morning to night. And especially, I'm sure finance people must be having something special. I don't know, but what is that? How do you manage a diet?
First of all, in my case, that credit goes to Shobha.
Okay.
It's not me. Whatever is required for me to have a energy, she takes care of that. Okay, that is the first. Second is like whatever pressures I think we'll continue to have today. It is very must. It's not like a choice.
Right.
A person should focus on suppose how to maintain a professional and personal life, and must have whatever suppose person likes, be it a sport or exercise or yoga. A person must do something. Otherwise it's very difficult to balance.
What's your favorite?
I love walking.
Oh, okay.
If as long as I'm in Hyderabad, I walk daily 7 kilometers.
Oh, awesome.
So
Great.
I don't compromise on that. At least when that time I will not have anything in my mind about, I don't know, what should I do, all these things. Completely, you will not have like a CFO hat, all these things. You are like a ordinary person. So you just, I don't know, chill with your friends. Talk, I don't know, whatever it is, like gossips, whatever is happening, be it in the movies, be it in the politics, be it in your society, be it in, and at the sometimes, I don't know, even if you have any challenges with your family, then you must have, I don't know, friends with whom you can talk very. That's where I see, I don't know, relationships, I don't know, maintains, I don't know, significant role in
Right.
any person's success.
Right. Understood. I mean, great. That's amazing.
So that's where, I don't know, suppose you must have some time for, like, to build the energy.
Awesome. Awesome. What about you, Amit?
I
What's your
think
type looks
same.
like?
I think very similar. Everybody, one must have some time for himself.
Mhm.
And we need to work on ourselves. I do, before coming to office, there's not a single day where I don't do yoga.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
heavily
okay.
into yoga and
Excellent.
meditation, pranayams. There will be very rare days where I will not do. Even on Sundays I do,
Oh,
because my
awesome.
day is not complete without that.
Okay.
And that helps, come to clean up your mind, have fresh thoughts,
Excellent.
come with a lot of energy.
Mhm.
That helps you drive throughout the day. And I have another practice that before I leave office, I write a little bit of a journaling.
Okay.
There are some 2-3 questions I write for myself every day that,
Awesome.
what is a new thing I've learned today?
Okay.
What are the things I could have done differently?
Oh, okay.
Did I make any mistake during the day? If I had a chance to change something, is there any event which happened? And I also try to write on gratitude,
Excellent.
So
Mm.
these are the few practices which I do, which helps me, even before leaving office, I clear off my mind. And
See, another one also I just want to add, Gautam, here, for any person, family is a big asset.
absolutely.
Family, I can tell you, one is like what you do, and another side equal, your family is like a big asset. Be it any of the family member, be it kids, all these things. Suppose in my case, I have 2 kids, daughter and son. And today also it's not like today I'm a father, I think they are like my kids, I think then we have like a boss or something, nothing. We, I don't know, suppose pull each other.
Okay.
If suppose my son sometimes calls MEN, like that also he calls
Oh.
me. Really, I enjoy it. Suppose, I don't know, yesterday also I was texting, no MEN like that, I don't know, he tells me,
Okay.
that extent you have a bonding.
Okay.
That even with my daughter also, she pulls me like that. I don't know, you must have a very casual, I don't know, approach with your, at
Awesome.
least
Fantastic.
I believe, I don't know, that is the right approach. And thereby, whatever I think issues are there, people, I don't know, suppose within the family, we can express very easily, and then I don't know, we can try to resolve.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, I don't know, if you're like I'm a father, like my kids, whatever, I don't know, in today's world, I think that will not work. That's where, be it, I don't know, suppose with like my son-in-law, now I think newly, and my daughter-in-law also, always I believe, I don't know, we must have very casual, I think, relationships.
Excellent.
And those relationships, I don't know, can take you very well. And really, suppose whatever, like you asked, IQ, EQ, whatever you name it, anything, you have like a great, and other side, if you have a family problems, my view that IQ, EQ will never work.
Okay.
I think I completely agree, because even in my case, the family is the backbone.
Okay.
90% of the things are taken care by my wife, my parents. Though my parents stays in Calcutta, they frequently come here. My wife takes care of both my kids. And it's important to balance. And
Right.
now the concept of work-life balance is very different in today's world. It's not about 8 hours and 8 hours or
Right.
12 hours and 12 hours. It's about the quality of time you spend with the family.
Understood.
When you are with family, you should be 100% focused.
Absolutely.
It should not happen that there is a call going on, or you're checking office mails and talking to your son. That's not, I think.
Great.
And they also understand and appreciate that
Awesome.
there is a very little window available, but I'm 100% available.
Excellent. Excellent.
And on the weekend, I make sure that I'm absolutely chilling out with my family.
Excellent.
So even while I'm talking to you, there is a ticket getting booked for the night.
Okay. Awesome. Great. Amit, on a lighter note, how spiritual you are?
See, I'm not too extreme. I'm very balanced. Like a god, I don't know, suppose uh, I have a lot of belief on, I don't know, spirituality. There's no doubt, but I'm not like a too extreme guy.
Okay.
So I visit like all the temples, and then that's where it's. You can put me in the mid.
Okay.
Uh,
So what about you, Amit?
I am a firm believer of God.
Okay.
But again, it's not like I visit temples, too many temples. I have a rituals of before I leave home every day I do puja,
Okay. Okay.
and I'm a Jain, so I follow
Okay.
Jain practice.
Oh, awesome. Mhm.
So that way I'm spiritual, but again, not a very extreme case.
in my house is my wife is like a, you can see like a too spiritual. I don't know. She does a lot of puja and everything.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
That's what I will say.
Great. Great. And Emian, just a thing. I think this offsites got. I don't know. They're not happening nowadays in Dr.Reddys. Is there any in future? Can we expect that culture to be back, or like how is it?
No, offsite means what? Which one?
Generally, I think if API. Amit, we should recently we visited to Goa and all. I think all those offsites got.
See, it is
stopped.
not, I don't know, suppose stopping of the any of the offsite or whatever it is. Always, I don't know, is continuously we can have a, as a company, we just, I don't know, we will not like this you should not do, this you should not do. It's really, if there is something, I don't know, Deepak believes, I think we have to do, I don't know, suppose we can do, whether it's a scale is like a matter.
Okay.
That's where I see that.
So Amit, noted. It's in Deepak's hand.
It's a podcast, so we'll keep that aside.
Generally, you have your internal team meetings, like.
Yeah,
offsites.
let us say this year, I don't know, suppose given that like we had a GFM.
Okay.
Always, I think if there is a will, I think you can find the way.
GFM is Global Finance Meet,
Okay.
where we have
Global finance meet. If there is a will, then you can find the way. This is earlier, I think our Jaspal Vazwa used to say this.
Okay.
So like this year also we had, I think, full day at our leadership academy.
Okay.
Then in the evening, I think we had a great fun at, I don't know, in our AMB mall. So, but expenses what we used to spend, I don't know, suppose definitely there is a huge savings, but we are continuing, I don't know, that momentum. We have not, I don't know, stopped.
Okay. What fun means to you, Emian? Like, how do you are you involved in some extracurricular activities like dancing, singing, etc.? Like.
So, if you ask me, first is apart from, I don't know, our professional life, I like the movies.
Okay.
Going to the theaters or sitting, I don't know, watching TV. That's my preference. That movie is also not like a very serious stuff.
Okay.
Like how you can have a fun, I don't know, where you can, that is where I just see that. Third, always is like I'm also, but don't put me like I'm a professional dancer. Answer is no.
Okay.
Like be it in our GFMs or I don't know, suppose whatever is like, whatever I know.
Okay.
But I'm very energetic. I can continue to dance in the floor, maybe even, I don't know, more than 2 to.
Awesome. I think I
More
should
than
ask
2 hours.
Amit, how does he dance?
I think don't put me on a spot. How does he dance? But I would say he would be the most energetic person on the
Okay.
floor. And every year during our global finance meet, we also have a special performance by FSC. FSC is Finance Steering Committee, where all the
Okay.
finance leaders are there. MBN and his L-1s. And he is the most, excited person in that group.
Okay.
1 week before the event, we start practicing, and he will be the first person to call up when is the choreographer coming, what is the song, I want this song to be included.
Okay.
Why are you not adding one more song? Why it is only 3 minutes? We should do 5 minutes. I think, and that's one area where he makes it mandatory for us.
Right.
Sometimes we don't listen to him, but in this area we have to listen to him. We all have to dance together.
Awesome, great. So, Emian, I think you have a vast experience now. Okay, if you want to advise to the young entrepreneurs, it could be, or any business enthusiasts, and anyone wants to open up a business. It could be as simple as a very small business to a very large scale business industry as well. So from your wisdom, from your experience, from your CFO perspective, what's your advice?
So, Gautam is here, my view always, suppose first we have to see what any entrepreneur or want to start the new business. So first we have to look at what are the growth opportunities. That's clearly we have to look at, and then how the competition will be there. And today I don't think any of the business without these things you cannot figure out how you can differentiate.
Okay.
That is like how you can bring the customer value proposition differently. That is the crux. If suppose three of us we are doing at the same business, how I can bring different value proposition to the customer. The moment the customer believes yes, MEN is bringing something different as compared to other two, then definitely you have a great potential. That is the one. Second, whatever actions we do, we should have a clear plan. How many years we have to burn the cash. Because initial years, of course, it's not year one you cannot make a break even or something. Definitely you should have a business plan, whether it's working or not. And clearly is always, I believe whatever we do, cash is king. Cash is king. Even sometimes, suppose it's like decisions when we want to take, whether should we give more weightage to the cash or should we give more weight to the accounting? Because whenever you're doing some structures, always is like nowadays everyone asks, suppose if I pay this, I have to take immediately that expenses in the same current period, then my profit will go up. Or similarly, if suppose I am doing any contracts with the customers, if I just do like this, my accounting profit will go up.
Right.
I am a strong believer that first is cash, then accounting has to follow second. It's not vice versa.
Great.
It has to be like whatever we do, how you're bringing the cash to the company, that should be the goal. So whenever I talk to my team or like my fellow colleagues in the management council, I always talk in this language. But if there is while doing so, if there are any opportunities, how first you can bring the cash, how you can do the accounting. If there is a permits, accounting standard permits, always if both achieves, it's the best. If that is not possible, I always put this as a cash is first.
Awesome.
So this I see that here. I don't think clearly for any of the new entrepreneurs, any of the new businesses must have a clear eye for details, eye for like what exactly is happening, and whatever you have envisaged at the beginning of suppose starting, and really okay, I will break even by so and so year. Sometimes it may not happen, but as long as if that business is like, if you see the direction it is growing, and then you can continue to invest, and then you must see that one day it has to start showing the positive results.
So MEN, I would like to ask you if there is any guidance to all the finance professionals if they want to add an additional skill which can really bring them a maximum impact in their careers. Maybe one from me and one from you, Amit. I think that can be.
Two things, whether it's for any finance professional, irrespective of their degree. Two, one is like a business partnering. Second is like a digital savvy.
Great. What about you, Amit?
I completely agree with MEN. Third is should be functional knowledge, because whatever we do, functional knowledge has to be up to the mark. Many times, I'm a CA. 20 years ago, I have qualified. That doesn't mean that I lose track of what's happening in my accounting standards or income tax. I think functional knowledge has to be there, and without that, whatever additional we do doesn't matter. So functional knowledge and two things what Ambien said is a must.
Right. So, Emian and Amit, I think to bring this to a closure, what I have personally understand from this entire thing is, over the experience of your journey or your journey, Amit, I think that power of belief, I think right from your young age, maybe without knowing, I think you both started practicing self-leadership. At a very, you might not be aware that time, okay? It could be any field you have chosen, it could be any task you have chosen, whatever you have chosen, you have that belief that yes, I can do this. And you did not probably I don't know, like you people did not encourage that thought of self-doubt. Maybe earlier stages, because it's very natural for a human being to some people, all people are not from well-off families, or not everyone has that day to dream big, okay? So some maybe certain humiliations, maybe certain school environments right from childhood, people tend to go through that kind of where I'm not that worth enough. Actually, a lot of people lose their self-confidence during school. Right from there it starts, okay? But I think this to overcome, taking that incremental steps towards building that self-confidence, I think that's something, it's a critical takeaway from this. Whether it is finance, it could be any other industry. I think today, if you look at it, I think you handling a $3 billion top line, it's not a joke. And sustaining that, going down is a secondary case, but sustaining that and aspiring to reach much of other heights, it's a very very big step, Amian. So I really really thank you both for spending time with me today. I hope I did not snatch you your weekend. I hope you also enjoyed this session equally. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for making this episode a really special one.
Thank you, Gautam.
Thank
I
you.
think, first of all, thanks for inviting us for this podcast. I think, and also allowing us to go back to our memories and reflecting back on what we did and sharing our stories. Thank you, and we really enjoyed the podcast.
Thank you, Amit.
Thank you, Gautam. I think really I enjoyed. This is a hope. I think whatever our broadcast, I don't know, will help. I think young generation.
Thank you.
And here the way in which you have summarized self-confidence, and I also suggest that followed. Once you have confidence, the necessary efforts also a person has to put it.
Right.
That's what I think. Just I can say that it's not that once you have confidence without efforts, that nothing will happen.
Right.
So if both are there, I'm sure anything that anyone can crack.
Definitely, I think every progress needs actions.
Yes.
Exactly. I think
Thank
that's
you.
it.
Thank
We
you.
really
Thank you.
enjoyed. Thank you.
Thank you, Eamon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.